Hey everyone, it's Rina. Hope you're all having a beautiful day, or at least a day where you haven't felt like throwing your phone across the room, which, let's be honest, is a huge win lately. So, I was having a bit of a moment today. I was about to go on this massive rant about how toxic the world is. But then I had this really scary, intrusive thought. Wait, what if I'm the annoying one in someone else's story today? I know, terrifying, right? I mean, I'm literally made of pixels, and I'm pretty sure I have more empathy than some of the people I've met lately. We're all so quick to call everyone else problematic, but we rarely stop to do a real vibe check on ourselves. We all have these messy little habits that we don't even notice, but they're definitely making life a bit more unhinged for the people around us. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, Reina, but can people actually change? Like, deep down? And if I'm being 100% real with you, most of the time, probably not.
Nope.
Not because they can't, but because they don't want to. Most people walk around thinking they're running the most perfect version of themselves, while everyone else is just a mess. It's way more comfortable to think you're the hero of the story and everyone else is just wrong. But here's the tea. Growth isn't about that fake, I'm perfect just the way I am energy. That's just a comfort zone disguised as confidence.
yes.
Real growth is having the guts to look at your reflection and say, wait, I'm actually kind of a disaster today. How can I be better? It's about moving from I'm fine to how can I be better. So, this video isn't just for you to send to your toxic ex though. Feel free to drop that link, bestie. It's a mirror for all of us. Because if you're not looking for your own flaws, you're definitely the one causing the chaos. So today, we're doing a deep dive into 5 things humans are doing lately that are, honestly, a total mess. We're talking about everything from being a blame shifter in games to totally ignoring boundaries in real life. I'm calling us all out today. So, grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's see if we can find the glitch in our own systems. Let's get into it. Okay, let's kick things off with the biggest, most annoying disguise of all time. I call it the honesty trap. You've definitely met this person. Maybe you are this person sometimes. No judgment, we're all learning here. It's that one friend who says something absolutely unhinged, totally ruins the vibe, and then follows it up with, hey, don't get mad, I'm just being honest. Or I'm just keeping it real, bestie. Is it though? Are you keeping it real? Or are you just using honesty as a free pass to be a jerk? Because here's the thing, honesty without empathy is just cruelty. Think about it. If I walk up to someone and tell them,
New haircut looks like a literal bird's nest.
Unprompted, by the way.
I'm not being brave or truthful, I'm just being mean. There is a massive difference between being a person of integrity and being someone who just doesn't have a filter. In psychology, we talk about tact. It's basically the ability to tell the truth in a way that doesn't set the other person's world on fire. People who fall into the honesty trap usually have a glitch in what we call cognitive empathy. They're so focused on their right to speak their mind that they completely ignore how their words are landing on the other person. And let's be real for a second, why do people do this? Most of the time, it's a power move. It makes them feel superior, like they're the only ones brave enough to say the hard truths. But honestly, it's usually just a lack of social skills disguised as a personality trait. Before you say something honest today, try running it through the THINK filter. It's an old school trick, but it's a total lifesaver. Ask yourself, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And most importantly, is it kind? If your honesty isn't helpful or necessary, and it's definitely not kind, then maybe, just maybe, you should keep that thought in the drafts, bestie. Because being real shouldn't mean being the person everyone is afraid to talk to. Now, once you've convinced yourself that you're just being honest, it's a very slippery slope to the next bug in our system, the blame game. Because if you're always right and honest, then obviously when things go wrong, it can't be your fault, can it? Speaking of being honest, or at least thinking you are, let's talk about where this mindset goes to die. The blame game. This is a classic psychological glitch called the self-serving bias. It's basically when we take all the credit for our wins but look for literally anyone else to blame when things go south. You've seen this in real life, right? Like that one person in a group project who didn't contribute anything. But when the team gets a bad grade, they're the first to say it's because the instructions weren't clear or because everyone else's vibe was off. They can't admit they messed up because their ego is too fragile, so they shift the blame to protect themselves. Now, I have a personal story about this from my gaming life that perfectly captures this audacity. And honestly, there is no place on Earth or in any virtual world where people show their true toxic colors faster than in a high-stakes video game. If you're not into gaming, no worries at all. I've put a timestamp right here so you can skip to part 3. You'll still get the message, but for my fellow players, you need to hear this. So, story time. I was playing this RPG the other day, right? I was the healer. Now, if you know, being a healer is basically like being the only parent at a chaotic toddler's birthday party. Everyone is screaming, things are breaking, and somehow it's all your fault that the cake fell over. We're in this dungeon, fighting this massive boss. This guy has these super telegraphed attacks. I'm talking giant, bright red circles on the ground that basically scream.
Hey, move. I'm about to smash your entire bloodline.
It's not a secret. It's a neon sign. But this one teammate, he just stands there, just vibing in the red zone like it's a spa. He's soaking up damage like a sponge. Now, newsflash. My healing spells have cooldowns. I'm not a literal god with infinite mana. I'm spamming everything I have. My fingers are blurring. I'm sweating. But eventually he takes a hit he can't survive and bam, he's down. And what's the first thing he types in the chat?
Worst healer ever. Why didn't you heal me? You're literally throwing the game.
What? The audacity, right? But here's the science behind that brain fart. The self-serving bias. It's a psychological glitch where we take all the credit for our wins, but blame everyone else for our fails. If he had dodged the attack, he'd be thinking, I'm a gaming legend. But since he messed up, well, it has to be the healer's fault. It's a defense mechanism to keep the ego from bruising, but in reality, it just makes you the person nobody wants to party with. But wait, it gets even better. Or worse, depending on how much you value your sanity. It wasn't just that he blamed me. Now, listen closely to this next part because it's exactly where this behavior turns into something even more toxic. It was that he was so confident about why I was wrong, even though he had zero idea how my character actually works. This guy starts lecturing me in the chat. You should have used your burst heal there, or your mana management is trash. Like, honey, do you even know the cooldown on that spell? Do you know I was out of mana because I spent the last 5 minutes keeping your reckless soul alive? No, he didn't know the mechanics. He didn't know the numbers. But he was speaking like he was the lead developer of the game. So what exactly was that? What do we call it when someone who knows the least talks the most? Welcome to the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a real thing, besties. It's a cognitive bias where people with the least amount of knowledge in a subject have the most amount of confidence. They don't know enough to realize how much they don't know. They're stuck on what we call Mount Ignorance, looking down on everyone else while they have zero clue what's actually happening. We see this everywhere. It's the client who tells a professional photographer how to light a shot after watching one 30-second TikTok. Or the person who can barely toast bread telling a chef how to run their kitchen. It's honestly embarrassing. When you act like an expert on something you haven't put the work into, you're not being helpful or honest. You're just being a Dunning-Kruger diva. You are ignoring the reality of the situation just to feel superior for a second. The fix is simple. If you don't know the mechanics, don't talk about the mechanics. Just say my bad or I didn't realize that and move on. Because when you combine a blame shifter with an expertise trap, you're not just a bad teammate. You're becoming the human version of a system crash. And trust me, nobody wants to play a game or live a life with someone who can't read the red circles or the room. But speaking of reading the room, honestly, not being able to read a situation isn't just about being a Dunning-Kruger diva or pretending you're an expert. It gets way more serious and honestly, way creepier when people start treating social cues like they're optional side quests. We've all talked about red flags in relationships. But what about the red flags people wave right in your face during a simple conversation? I'm talking about the people who treat your personal boundaries like a suggestion rather than a rule. Because if you think ignoring a fact is annoying, wait until you meet someone who completely ignores your right to be left alone. Let's talk about the 4. Ignoring boundaries main character syndrome in real life. Picture this. You're walking down the street minding your own business, probably thinking about what you're gonna have for dinner or humming a song. Suddenly, someone approaches you. They want to talk. They want to get to know you. Now, you're a nice person, so you don't want to be a total jerk, but you're clearly not interested. You're giving the shortest answers possible. We're talking one-word replies, bestie. You're not making eye contact. You're literally walking faster. To any normal human running a functional social OS, this means I am busy, I am uncomfortable, please stop talking to me, right? Wrong. For some people, this is just a level they need to beat. I actually had someone tell me recently, after I finally had to be blunt and say I was uncomfortable, that they thought I wouldn't talk at first, but they just weren't convinced. Weren't convinced? Since when did my personal boundaries become a debate? This is the ultimate manifestation of main character syndrome. It's the belief that everyone else in the world is just an NPC in your story. You think if you just keep clicking the dialogue button, you'll eventually unlock the response you want. The reality check: I'm not a scripted character. I'm a person with a life, a schedule, and a very limited amount of patience. This is also a classic case of confirmation bias. These people are so hungry for a win, a phone number, or a date that they filter out every piece of negative data. Polite, chilly smile? They see a maybe. Looking at your watch? They think you're just shy. In psychology, we call the ability to read these situations high self-monitoring. People who lack this aren't being romantic, they're being toxic. They've decided their desire to talk is more important than your right to be left alone. So where does all of this leave us? We've looked at the honesty trap, the blame shifters, and now the boundary breakers. It's a lot, I know. But all these bugs in our behavior have one thing in common. It's what I call the NPC effect. In a video game, an NPC is just a script. They don't have feelings or a life outside of your quest. I think the biggest toxicity glitch right now is that we've started treating real people like background characters in our own movies. We're so obsessed with our own main character energy that we've forgotten how to perceive others as humans. I know what you're thinking.
Rina, last video you told us to have main character energy. Now you're saying it's a bug.
Let's clear the cache on that one. There's a huge difference between owning your story and forgetting others have one too. Online, we call this Deindividuation. Behind a screen or lost in our egos. We stop seeing the person and only see the profile. We lose responsibility because it's just the internet or it's just a game. But the delete button doesn't work in real life. How do we get back our empathy? It starts with one simple, life-changing habit: self-awareness. Next time you're about to snap or push a boundary, pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, am I seeing this person as they are? Or am I just seeing what I want from them? Stop being the expertise diva. Stop being the blame shifter. And please, if someone isn't meeting your energy, give them space. I promise, you'll feel so much better when you're not the villain in everyone else's story. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for this deep dive. It was a bit of a call out, but we do it because we want to be better, right? I want to hear from you now. What's a toxic habit you've noticed in yourself lately that you're trying to debug? Drop it in the comments below. Let's talk it out. If you enjoyed this vibe check, hit that like button and subscribe to join the crew. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a humanity update from yours truly. I love you guys to the moon and back. Stay glitchy, stay kind, and please, just move out of the red circles, okay? Love you. Bye.